Hey everybody, on today's episode of Pdubs Arcade Loft, we're going to take a look at the Arcade1Up Midway Legacy Cabinet, the $399 cabinet. Is it just shy of greatness? When looking at this cabinet, what we're going to do here is we're going to check the tech, then we're going to check the appearance of the cabinet, and then we're going to check the playability of all the games. Taking a look here, you have the exact same Bowie monitor and PCB setup that you have on the Costco Mortal Kombat cabinets. I'm going to have a separate video coming out shortly diving into this further that you don't want to miss. From the bottom up, I absolutely love the new all-black riser front panel here. That looks awesome. And I really like the side panels of the riser as well. I think the artwork here looks pretty good. No complaints on the riser this time. Arcade1Up took fan feedback to heart on these legacy cabinets, coming up with a side panel design that's meant to mirror original arcades more. It's something that a lot of fans have been asking for, and Arcade1Up tried to deliver. However, we do have just one issue with this particular template on the side panels. And it's not the artwork. I think artwork here is going to come down to user preference. Personally, although this new artwork design has got brighter colors, it's a little more blue, doesn't look like the original Mortal Kombat cabinet as well as the Costco cabinet in regards to the colors of Raiden, I like it. I think it looks great. So what's wrong with the side panels? Well, it's the way they mounted the screen as well as the marquee. I'm 5'11", and as you can see, when I approach the cabinet, I cannot stand in front of this thing and play. That camera was at eye level, as well as the screen is cut off due to how vertical the monitor is. The design flaw here is the cabinets are shorter than other Arcade1Up cabinets on risers by an inch or two, and as you can see, line of sight completely blocked. I'm 5'11". I cannot see the screen unless I kind of lean, step back, lean, and try playing like this and not have a sore back. It's the only way I can play at my height. I have a feeling anyone 5'9" or taller, you're not going to be able to see the screen. And we don't have that issue on the Costco version of Mortal Kombat or the original Mortal Kombat produced by Arcade1Up. I'm 5'11", and I can easily see the screen, the monitor, and that's probably why Arcade1Up originally had this traditional cookie cutter shape that they were using for all their cabinets. It was actually designed so folks, average sized folks could play these games. Notice how Star Wars on a riser had to be bigger. But the other design flaw here is that Arcade1Up made these side panels just a bit too wide. They're just a bit too fat, and you're gonna call me crazy, you're gonna think I'm nuts, but if you want to have an more arcade-shaped panel versus their cookie-cutter panel, and with the panels as wide as they are, trying to give it that original arcade shape, they have the monitor mounted more vertically than what we've seen in recent cabinets, as well as that marquee is pushed a little bit further to the front than what we've seen in recent cabinets as well. Sounds like they've heard fan feedback. They're trying to get the marquees closer to the edges to avoid the wings on the cabinet, but this just can easily be fixed. I mean, heck, our community members have come up with a great idea. I mean, these are 3/4 scale cabinets. They're never going to match identical to what a real arcade machine looked like, but take a look at what Juan Pablo here did with his Mortal Kombat mod. And if Arcade1Up had done this, where the upper part of the panels were skinnier, but we still had that, you know, those 90-degree angles at the top where the marquee is, they could have tilted the screen back, as well as had the marquee flush against the edges of the side panels to avoid the wings, and this would have looked great. And this also would have looked really good and fixed the issues for folks 5'9" or higher who now have to sit down and play in front of this cabinet. I hope Arcade1Up takes a look at what this guy did here and considers this for future designs, because honestly, I think that looks great. You guys let me know in the comments. Minus that design flaw, the only other issue that a lot of folks have been complaining about is the fact that the control decks are now set inside the cabinet, creating a ledge. And real arcade machines, some of them did have ledges, but they did have, you know, typically, you know, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of space between the joystick and the ledge. Here, where you only get about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So on the player one side of the cabinet, some users might find this annoying, as their hand is going to be resting or bumping into the side of the cabinet. For me personally, I didn't find it bothersome or annoying when playing, but then again, I am a left-hand, I'm left-handed dominant, so it didn't really bother me. The only concern here is after I shot this B-roll footage, after initially building the cabinet, like my fellow YouTuber friend Fishbeat Productions, after playing on this cabinet for a substantial bit of time, after shooting this B-roll footage, the graphics on the edge of the player one side are starting to peel due to my hand resting on that ledge. And I'm thrilled that we got rid of the game logos on the kick plates. I'll take this coin door sticker any day of the week over those logos. I just wish the quality of the print was a little bit better on that coin door sticker. It's not horrible, it's okay. It's an improvement in my opinion versus a bunch of the game logos. And of course we have the same Bowie monitor, same sticks, same buttons that we see in all other Arcade1Up products, same speakers that we've seen in all their arcade products as well. Overall, a pretty well-built machine, except the design flaws on the side panels. One of the main reasons to purchase this cabinet is to condense as we run out of space and upgrade your collection and get more games on a cabinet. We now have 12 games on this cabinet: Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Toobin', Rampage, Joust, Wizard of War, Gauntlet, Root Beer Tapper, Defender, Bubbles, and Paperboy. Pretty good, different types of games, and 2 cabinets combined, the Rampage and Mortal Kombat cabinets. And also, I'm super excited that Arcade1Up has heard the feedback. I say it in all the videos, give us dip switch settings. We're adults, we can handle it, and sure enough, we have that built in for all 12 games. All 12 games have different dip switch settings for adjusting difficulty, as well as scan lines, and the scan lines look pretty good if you want to turn them on, whereas I prefer to leave them turned off. So when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, we really don't need to dive into the gameplay on those. All the games work, run really well. The buttons on this cabinet are set up to play those games, so you're not going to have any issues. Arcade1Up emulates the Mortal Kombat games pretty well. No complaints there. Focusing on the other games included on this cabinet, we got Toobin'. And Toobin' is a blast to play once you learn what 4 buttons you have to use for reverse and forward. And man, this game is so much fun to play on this cabinet. And of course, I do like the vertical screen and the fact that Arcade1Up listened to fans and added side bezels to fill in the black spots, unused spots of the screen, like their competitors do. Well done, Arcade1Up. Rampage is on here, and Rampage plays great, looks great, sounds great. Rampage is a fun experience on this cabinet. No issues or complaints here with all the testing. Joust is on here, and of course, Joust, no complaints here. It's just 1 stick and 1 button. Not that hard to learn how to play that game on this cabinet, and it plays really, really well, sounds really well. Sorry my camera would not focus there. I didn't catch that until it was too late. But yeah, no complaints about Joust on this cabinet. Wizard of War is interesting because the player 1, you do have to play from the player 2 side, but that is actually set up the way that apparently the original game was designed as well. So we can't complain about that. Arcade1Up trying to mirror how the game was originally designed. I never really got into this game, never really played it too much before, if ever. But I gotta tell you something, I'm really digging this game. I like how the creatures turn invisible, but you got a radar map on the bottom there, and you gotta keep track of them and try and kill them. Wizard of War is actually a super cool retro arcade game to have on this cabinet. I'm digging it. Gauntlet is interesting because obviously we have a 4-player game on a 2-player cabinet, so you can only play 2 players, no online, no Wi-Fi, none of that stuff. And of course you can load up your health as much as you want. You'll never die in this game. Just load up that health and go nuts. The game plays really good. It's a fun experience, but honestly, I think I would rather see this added, kind of like mixed in with a 4-player cabinet down the road. Just throw this game in there if at all possible. But, I mean, it's Gauntlet. We all like Gauntlet. It's a classic. Rupert Tapper is one of the best things to happen to this Midway Legacy cabinet. I love the fact that Arcade1Up set it up where you can use both joysticks. Player 1 to move the character up and down the rows, and the Player 2 joystick to use as your tapper, as your pour and serve. It's really, really cool, and it's a pretty good experience playing it that way on this cabinet. No complaints. Absolutely love having this on here. Arcade1Up added Bubbles on here, and Bubbles is my wife's favorite game to play on the Midway Legacy cabinet. She absolutely adores this game. I think it's kind of cheesy, kind of hokey, but it is fun to play. Gives you a nice little break on the cabinet if you want to try something really goofy for a few minutes. Bubbles is cool. But it ain't all sunshine and roses when it comes to the 12 games. 10 of them I'm really digging on here. I think they play well. The controls are mapped and work just fine. When it comes to Defender, Defender's kind of a... You really got to get used to how these controls that Arcade1Up set up. I guess they did the best they could to try and mirror how the original controls may have been on the original arcade. It's just not great. It's just not great. This thing is going to need a dedicated cabinet, in my opinion. And the other one is Paperboy. Out of the 12 games included on this cabinet, the only 2, in my opinion, just my opinion, that have really difficult control scheme setups are Paperboy and Defender. I think maybe these should be on more dedicated cabinets in the future. You can learn how to play. You can get good with enough practice learning how to play these games with the controls that Arcade1Up set up. But would I highly recommend them? No. Am I going to say they're unplayable? No. You can learn how to play and get good. It's just not a super great experience, in my opinion, these games on this cabinet with these controls. These $400 legacy cabinets that Arcade1Up plans on continuously selling year over year are evergreen cabinets. In my opinion, not that shabby. And I'm glad they're priced at $400. If these were $500, I would say heck no. But for $400, you'll be able to combine cabinets. And hopefully Arcade1Up can revisit the side panels in future waves, and maybe we can make some adjustments there. Because minus that, and also finding a way to get these control decks maybe flush again to get rid of ledge gate, even though I don't think it's that bad, and minus a couple of small control issues on 2 of the included games, I definitely have more positive things to say about the Midway Legacy cabinet than I do negative. Pretty decent. Let me know what you guys think about these cabinets. Leave your comments in the video description below. Do me a favor, guys. Give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, thank you for subscribing and clicking that bell.